Hi, I'm Mike, the driver. Today we're looking at a Jeep Wrangler Sahara Edition. This is a vehicle that's both off-roader, recreational vehicle, and daily driver. Let's take a look and see what it has to offer. Alright, so on the exterior of the Jeep, it's pretty basic, pretty plain, standard Jeep fare if you've seen a Jeep Wrangler in the last 20 years. I do like the exposed hinges that we have here. It makes it a little easier as well to get access to the bolts that hold on the door. And then actually embossed into the door, you actually see, they tell you what size the screw is. So it's a T50 for these here. And then same thing in the back. Your side mirrors, while they look pretty basic, these are heated and powered mirrors. So I like how they kind of made it look like something simple, but gave you some nice functionality there. You've got your removable roof panels up top. You've got the two on for the front. You have this long one that you take off for the rear. And then this side panel here also comes off. You get that full, Jeep Wrangler experience. You got a nice running board here along the side. It's a good step to get in because this vehicle is lifted up. You can see, we've got good ground clearance, nice big tires here. And I like the design on these tires as well, or the wheels, I should say. They're silver with black painted inlay. And on each one, there's a little tiny Willys Jeep logo on there, which I think is pretty cool. We also have our trail rated logo that Jeep puts on all their vehicles, which they say have been tested and are proven off-road. I think that's a little bit of marketing hype, but whatever. You've got your Sahara and your Jeep Wrangler branding here as well. And up front, we've got that classic circle headlights, that traditional Jeep grille, and I do like that there's some pretty beefy tow hooks built into the bumper as well. And you've got integrated fog lamps into the bumper, which is something that we've seen before on prior Wranglers. So this is no different. They just kind of moved them out a little bit to where they are now. I am a little partial on how you get into the engine on this one. And you've got these little clamps that hold on the hood right here. And I don't know, I think maybe I've been liking Jeep from afar for a long time because I just think that's a pretty cool way to get into your engine bay. You don't have to get inside the vehicle to do that. Okay, taking a look at the back of the Wrangler here. It's pretty standard, Wrangler fare. You've got your full-size spare on the back. Always a big fan of the full-size spare. That way it's the same design as the other wheels as well. So if you ever if you get a flat or you need to change it, swap it around, it doesn't look awkward or anything like that. So we've got your high mount third brake light, and we've got these two square, chunky looking taillights as well. And I like that you've got your LED light on the outside, your integrated brake light, and reverse light there. All right, so let's take a look at the trunk area. Okay, get into the back of the Wrangler. You just pull here, it swings open. If you've got some smaller items, you can just slide them in right there. If you have bigger items, you just pull this up. Now you've got access to all of this space. And this being the 4-door, you've got so much more room behind that second row of seats there. You also have some tie downs as well. So if you need to tie any of your equipment down, you've got 3 on each side. You've got some hidden storage here as well. And then your jack's under here. And then you also have slots for if you want to, when you take off your doors and everything else, they actually have individual slots for you to put your fasteners. That way, when you get ready to put everything back on, you haven't lost your parts, you know where they are. You also can see the exposed or body colored roll cage built into the vehicle here. You have a 12 volt as well, additional to what you have up front. Although I'd probably just stick with the 3-prong 115 volt outlet that you've got in the second row, and just run an extension cord or something like that. It'll probably be faster for whatever you need. And if you really need to move a lot of things in here, you can fold down this second row of seats and just have a ton of space in this vehicle. So I really think that with the 4-door, you get a lot more versatility, and it kind of makes it a better daily, in my opinion, especially if you have a family, you're moving a lot of things around. Okay, so sitting up front in the Jeep, I really like it. I've got plenty of room. Now I do have the seats all the way back, but again, I'm 6'4", mostly legs, but I've got plenty of room up here. You know, I do feel that the dash is a little close to me, but I think that's just because how upright you are in this vehicle. Again, it's pretty truck-like in here, but I've got tons of headroom thanks to these removable panels. You can see kind of like where the normal roof line would be, but because we've got these panels on top that come off, I've got tons of headroom here. You know, placement for your hands and arms, pretty good. I like all the different hand holds. I like using this to get in. It's probably not necessary, but I think it's cool. But all your controls are right where you want it. You've got buttons for everything. Shifters right here. Your controls for your Windows switches, all right here. I like it. I have no complaints sitting up front in this car. And I do like the cool little animation you get when you turn the vehicle on. All right, so sitting in the back here, you can see I've got plenty of room. I did not move the seat back at all from where we had it before when I was sitting up front. And I've got good clearance here, and I am helped by the fact that these seats have scallops in the back for situations just like this, for clearance for the legs. And this seat's all the way back, but I can still get, you know, 1 or 2 fingers between my knees as I sit back here. Now, I really like the look in the back, because you can really see more of the roll cage. You get your integrated speakers, since in the door you don't have any speakers, because those come off the vehicle if you want. But the benches are pretty comfortable. The backs are a little thin. You know, I'd probably prefer a little more padding if you're gonna go on a long drive or something like that. You also get an 80-20 split. So where I'm sitting, this would stay up, but this whole section here could come down, or vice versa if you just had something smaller that you wanted to slide through. You also have ventilation back here, some ducts you can manipulate. You also have your window switch control in the center stack, and then your third USB for the media is back here, but you don't just get one slot. So there's actually 4 slots. 2 apply for the media part. So you've got a USB-A and a USB-C similar to up front. And then on the other side, next to that, you have charging. So, and again, it's USB-C, USB-A. So it's got everything covered. And USB-A, if you're not familiar, that's just your traditional USB, whereas USB-C is the oval type. And below that, you've got a 115 volt AC plug, and that's just your standard 3-prong like you'd find in your house. So that's pretty cool. So if you're out on the trail or camping and you want to plug in, say, something to fill up your air mattress, if you're glamping, or anything, you know, you could have in the car. I mean, I could use it to charge the batteries for my cameras. So it's pretty cool. And below that, you've got 2 illuminated cup holders as well. Overall, I think this is a good space. It's pretty spacious. You've got everything you need. If you're on, you know, an hour drive or something like that, 2 hours, you're not gonna complain too much. And then off-road, you do have the nice grab handles, so when things get a little crazy, you've got something to hold on to. All right, so sitting behind the wheel of the Jeep Wrangler, it's a pretty nice place to be. The ride isn't too firm. It's a little bouncy. You sit up high with that commanding view of the road that people like to talk about. It's not really something for me though, because I'm a car guy. Trucks aren't my thing. I think the best truck you can have is the one you can borrow. But this vehicle, you're not going to be upset driving it. The interior is well appointed. Yeah, it's plastics and things like that, but you got to remember that this is a vehicle where the top comes off. You're exposed to the elements, so you need materials that are going to be able to withstand that. Leather's not going to be something you want to have, and then you've got the top off and it rains, or you're getting sand and dust all on it. So, you've got these cloth seats. It feels like it might be like a neoprene material, so when it gets wet, it'll probably dry out quickly. Definitely, you don't have to worry about mold and things like that. You've got your plastics here. It's hard touch, but again, you want something that's going to be a little resilient. Your dash, also a hard touch. It looks soft touch, but there's not much give in that. Got a 7-inch display touchscreen here, and you also have a digital display between your gauges as well. It's all integrated very well, and the clarity on the gauges on the screens is very good. This is very high fidelity screens that they put in here, which I enjoy, because what's the point of putting in a screen in your car if you can see all the jagged edges and stuff, and it looks like you're using 8-bit font? If you're going to put in a screen in 2020, let's put in a screen that looks like, it could be your iPad or your iPhone or something like that, right? Or in a world with 4K displays, let's put in something with some clarity. And they've done that here. Steering feel in the Wrangler, and I don't know if this is because I'm just a car person, but it feels a little floaty to me. I feel like there's a little more play in the wheel than I would like, but I can tell that there are definitely more turns to lock than, say, in your car. Like normally I'm used to like two turns, maybe a little less, lock to lock. But I feel like this is more. It seems like there's a little bit of play in this, and this is a new vehicle, and I feel like I can do that and not affect the direction of the car. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm sure it's something that you'll get used to as you drive it, but I feel like it leads to me kind of meandering in the lane a little bit. The transmission feels very good. Smooth. Haven't noticed. I believe this is a 8-speed transmission in this vehicle, and the shifts are really smooth. This also has 4-wheel drive. It's not something that I'm going to be using on the highway, or anyone should be using on the highway. Now, there is a fair bit of wind noise in this vehicle. That's something that you can forget the car for. The wind noise is because there's so many different openings they have to seal on this, because with the Wrangler, everything can come off. The doors can come off, the roof comes off, the side panels for the body come off, and you're left with just basically the roll cage, and then the main body of the vehicle. So, we've got seams up here, the windshield folds down. We also have a pretty upright windshield as well, which is going to really resist the wind and make a lot of noise. So I'm actually having to speak louder than normal in this video, but I think it's just one of the things you trade off, right? This is a compromised vehicle, definitely. Okay, so final thoughts on the Jeep Wrangler. This is a pretty interesting vehicle to me. It really can be that daily driver that you want, if you're willing to put up with a few compromises, right? Like, I mean, are you going to have a little increased wind noise? Are you going to deal with a little chintzier materials in the inside? Sure. But when the weekend comes, or if you live out in the South, every day when the sun is out, you've got the top off, and there's so many different configurations. You don't have to have the hard top. There's soft tops. They're bikini tops, things like that. So there's so many different configurations that you can put the Wrangler in. Again, this isn't the vehicle that I would ever buy. That's just because I don't go off road. I don't do that kind of stuff, and I'm not in the trucks, which I've said a few times in this video. I know, but I really think that what Jeep have with the Wrangler is great. It's a really, really good vehicle, and I can see why it has stood the test of time and has been true to form for so many decades. It can do the daily, but when you want it to, it will definitely do the off-road and the backcountry stuff that you want. So if this is something that interests you, I'd say, yeah, go out and get one. And there are different innovations, different engine options available in the newer Wranglers, but you can go and get one from 20 years ago and have the same capabilities and fun that you could have in a brand new one. So that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.